Hello everyone. My name is Catherine. Thank you for joining us on this beautiful day in February. The sun's out and it's very nice outside. Welcome to my Facebook Live. Again, my name is Catherine and I will be leading us through our 45-ish minute workout today. I'm with the Forever in Motion team here in Saskatoon, and I welcome you to our class. So what you can expect is a little bit of a warm-up. We're going to transition into some strengthening, some balance work, and then end with some stretching today. You will need a resistance band, a chair, and your water bottle. And if you don't already, make sure you have supportive shoes, so we are good to go. And all the other things, make sure your space is free of any obstacles because we do not want to fall and trip on anything. So let us get started. Let's get moving. We're standing up nice and tall. I like to think of a string pulling me up. My chin is tucked. My shoulders are set down and back. Good. My tummy is strong and activated. Activating through that core. You can think of it as drawing your belly button in slightly, or how I like to activate is give yourself a nice big cough. Feel how your tummy activates and try to hold that same activation throughout our workout. Last thing we want to do is a little bum tuck. So just being aware of our pelvis, we want a nice neutral pelvis. We don't want to be too much of a lower back sway or an under tuck with our pelvis. So just finding that nice neutral. So those are our ABCs, abdominals in, bum tuck, or just a neutral spine. Chin is tucked, showing me your double chins, and your chest is open. Squeezing those shoulder blades slightly in the back. You can also think about maybe you're at the beach and you're showing off your confidence, or you have a beautiful necklace and you want to show it off to everyone. All right, let's march a little bit harder, remembering those A, B, C's throughout our workout. Other things I always like to talk about is making sure you are working to a level that is good for you. So if you need to modify anything that we're doing today, feel free to modify, reduce your range of motion. Do not do it loaded, so do not do it resisted with the band. Those are some just easy options if something's not feeling good today. And by all means, take as many breaks as you need, pause, and then come on back to it when you're ready. All right, very good. Let's change our feet. Let's go out, out, in, out, out, in. Good. We can swing those arms a little bit more. Good. We are increasing our heart rate, getting the body warmed up for exercise, reducing any risks of injury because no one wants to get hurt. Good. Let's change our step, leading with the other leg this time. Good. I always find when we switch legs or leading legs, sometimes we feel, we default to our strong leg or our dominant leg. But then we have to really focus on our non-dominant leg to do the work too. This is my left leg that we're doing it in, and it does feel a little not normal or a little awkward because my right strong leg would probably take over or always lead if I didn't purposely choose to lead with my non-dominant leg. One more time. Good. And just a nice little march. We're going to do a little bit of side to side stepping. And I like to use this side to side stepping to check that posture. So again, standing up nice and tall, chin tuck, set those shoulders, bring those arms down, and let's swing from side to side. Now I know some people, when they do this, they default to rounded shoulders, just letting your body move, not being in control of it, or not moving with purpose. When we're doing this, I want you to always think about moving with intention. So stepping from side to side. What are some things that I can do to elevate this warm up? Is I can set those shoulders down and back. So my shoulder blades are retracted. And then I'm moving my arms and working on that posture of my upper back. Ooh, I also feel my hips moving or working. They're feeling a little warm. Anyone else's? Very good. And you know what? Like I said, it's easy to go in the same direction. So let's work together to change the opposite arms and legs. So they're going in opposite directions. It's a little tricky. Coordination is not one of my strengths, but I'm working on it here, and you're working on it with me. Very good. All I really worry about is that you are moving in a safe way. So if opposite arm and opposite leg is not for you today, don't worry. I just want to see you moving to get the blood flowing. Very good. Shake that all out. I definitely feel my heart rate increasing a little bit, but we have a little bit more to go in our warm-up. So let's come into our hamstring curl. So curling those heels back. Very good. When I'm doing my hamstring curl, my knees are down towards the ground, and I curl that heel towards my bum. And as I curl, I focus on my hamstring crunching, contracting. So I lift up my heel towards my bum. Add in the bicep curl. Again, this is 2 things at one time. If doing 2 things at one time is not your strength, don't worry about it. Just do maybe 1 thing at a time. This is your workout. You're in control, and you can opt out of anything that we are doing today. All right, let's work a little bit of our balance and our mind a little bit. Let's do 2 repetitions on either side, if that works for you. Option, grab your chair, have that to hold on to because it looks like this. We're gonna do 2 curls, switch sides. 2 curls, switch sides. So option, if balance is ever a concern, always stand behind your chair, or we can sit. Now, if you want the option, keep going. If you want the option in standing, it can look like this. So when I'm transferring my weight, I really make sure I'm stable over my ankle, my knee, and my hip. So I'm soft through my joints. I find my balance, and then I take my heel and I curl back. So that's what I think of every time I do this movement. And maybe you'll think about this too when you're doing your workouts. Again, I'm always about bringing the mind to that body part so you can get more out of this rather than just going through the motions, because everyone's time is valuable. And we want to get the most out of our workouts. All right, 1 more time each side, and shake it out. All right, let's slow it down a little bit before we move into some strengthening. So I like to do a nice wide base. We're going to get our hips moving. So again, standing up nice and tall, tucking in our chin, setting those shoulders, nice strong core, tailbone slightly tucked, or just being aware of what your neutral is. And we're going to do some hip circles. So I always incorporate hip circles in my warm-ups. And I just like to move those hips, try to reduce any stiffness that we may have. Switch ways. Good. I'll give you a little preview of what's going to happen. We're going to have a water after this, so make sure you have your water nearby. And then let's do some figure 8s with our hips. So making a number 8 or an infinity symbol with your hips. And like I said, one direction is easier, but let's pause and go in the opposite direction. And I always like this one too, because if you have a sore hip maybe on one side and you want to give it a little bit more love or attention, you can take some time to really focus on that one side. Good. Scoot your feet in, standing tall, chin, chest, core. We're going to open up those arms to the side. So I'm setting my shoulders, that gentle retraction with my shoulders. My thumb is leading up. My palms are facing you. And I'm coming up, squeezing that gentle shoulder blade. My neck is long, my shoulders are down, and they're not hiking as I raise. Let's take this forward. Again, setting those shoulders, tailbone tuck, nice strong tummy, raising forward and down. Just getting the range of motion with our shoulders going. Good. Big breath in. Always breathing. Shake it out. Great. So let's grab that water, let's grab that chair and the band as we transition into some strengthening. All right. We're going to start off with a paddler's row. So we'll take our tubing or your resistance band and we will place it around the bottom of our feet. And we're going to point our toes slightly forward. And what this does is it prevents the band from rolling up and coming loose. Scooching at the front edge of our seat, we're sitting up nice and tall, chin is tucked, and we're going to take our hands down by our side. Our elbows are straight and soft, and we're going to pull the tubing back behind us by our hips and slowly lower forward. If you have a chair with no arms, this would be a lot easier. Sitting proud, showing off your confidence, chin is tucked. We're at home, no one can see our double chins. We're breathing. We're squeezing those shoulder blades gently together. Sitting tall, strong core. Good. Relaxing those shoulders. Nice long neck. Good, one more. And relax. Excellent work. Transitioning into our chest muscles next, we're going to do our chest press. So taking our tubing, bringing it behind our back. I like to scooch my tubing up. Option, you can sit or you can stand. I'm going to grip hold of my tubing. My elbows are close to start with. I'm going to bring them out slightly and I'm going to exhale as I push forward and then coming back. My elbows bending 90 degrees, pushing forward, and as I push forward, I'm almost like squeezing my chest together. Good. To make this harder, you can always choke up on the band, providing more resistance to work through. And also when we do anything with the band, I always want you to try to have some tension through it the whole time. And you are in control of the tubing. Don't let the tubing snap back because we're giving up that opportunity to strength train if you just let the band snap and you're not doing the work. All right, one more time. Targeting our strong chest muscles. Very good. All right, coming back to doing some back work, I like to fold my tubing in half. I fold it in half to add some more challenge and resistance for me, but feel free to use one length of the tubing if you'd like. And my fingers are pretty close to the band or pretty close together when I'm doing this. So I'm standing tall or sitting, your choice. Chin, chest, core. I'm bringing my hands to my chest level or armpit height. And I'm going to squeeze my shoulder blades together and slowly come back together. So squeezing my shoulder blades together, my back muscles are pinching. And that's the muscle we are targeting that we want to work. Good. Breathing always. Check your neck. Is it hiked up? Or are you showing yourself your long, beautiful neck? Good. All right, to make this one more challenging, we can do a toe raise if you're up for it. So let's do an upper back squeeze and a toe raise. Upper back squeeze and a toe raise. Option, we can do one toe raise at a time. We're not here much longer. Just a few more. Breathing. Good. One more. Have to equal out those legs. Good work. All right. Coming into some leg strength next, so we can put that tubing down for now. We're going to be either standing, I always like to stand in front of the chair for this one. We're going to be doing a sit to stand, but option, you can do this behind your chair. If you'd like, doing your quarter squat, if you want to hold on for balance. All right, so finding your place in front of the chair, find a nice wide base with your legs because we are more stable when we have a wider base. If we're more narrow, that's going to be a little bit more challenging. But so I like a nice wide base. It also helps my hips move a little bit better. My toes are slightly turned out. Again, this works best for my hips. If you'd like, you could try more of a narrow stance with toes forward. Your choice. My preference is a wide stance. Finding my posture, chin, chest, core, tailbone tuck, tummy is nice and strong. I'm going to push my hips backwards slightly, and then I'm going to bend my knees to lower my bum to the chair. My arms are here for balance and support. Leaning forward, powering up into standing. Push and lower, lean and stand. So option, take that full rest and then stand up. If you'd like to make this more challenging, lightly tap and come back up. When we do that tap, my thigh muscles, my quadriceps have to stay activated the whole time. Good, so I'm not giving them much of a break. But two options, you choose which works best for you. Most of us are up and down out of a chair every day, so we're just strengthening those quadriceps to make them a little bit stronger, which helps to strengthen our knees as well and our balance. One more time. Powering up. Good. Got those legs moving a little bit, which is always good. All right, grabbing hold of our band again, moving into some upper body work. If you'd like, you can stay seated if you'd like to rest your legs a little bit more, or you can join me in standing, your choice. Coming into our tricep work, I have my band in front of me. This is in my left hand. And I'm going to bring it across to my right shoulder. I like to get this guy out of the way and put them over my back. So I take hold of my right arm. My elbow is nice and tight to my body. My elbow is at 90 degrees, and I'm going to bring my hand down to the side. Slowly coming back up to that 90 degrees, and then pressing down again. All right. Shoulder down, neck nice and long. Chin is tucked. If you forgot, this is me just gently reminding you. Tummy is strong. My base of support, my feet placement is in a neutral stance. This feels comfortable for me. If I want to challenge my balance, I can bring my toes and heels together. Good, and I am controlling this band coming from the straight arm back to 90 degrees. My body is in control, not the band. Let's do one more time. Good, let's switch sides. So the band is now in my right hand. I'm going to bring it towards my left shoulder, taking that band, putting it over my shoulder so it's out of the way. My left arm is coming in, that 90-degree bend in that elbow. And then I'm going to press down, slowly coming back up. Watch your wrist. Is your wrist neutral or is it being bent like that maybe? That might not feel good. So just really try to keep a nice neutral wrist. Good. It will also help with our wrist strengthening as well. And I know we all need our help. We all need help with our upper body strength. Getting that jam jar open. I don't know if anyone else struggles with that like I do. Some tricks I use to open it is I bang the lid against the counter a couple times. That seems to help. I also have those silicone oven mitts, and those act like one of those jar grippers too. So maybe that works for you. And then you can always try hot water under the tap or any other little tricks. Feel free to share them if you have any. Share the knowledge, because I'm sure it's not just me that struggles with it. One more. Very good, and relax. Excellent. All right, so we just targeted our tricep, the back of the arm, and we're going to target our bicep, the front of the upper arm, next. So we're going to take our band, placing it in front of us, and stepping on it. You can step with one foot or both, your preference. If you have a short band, you might step on it with one. If you need to take up some slack, you might step on it with two. It does not matter. We are going to adjust our grip. Elbows are nice and close to the side of our body. Your knuckles are forward facing me. Let's find our ABCs, chin, chest, core, tailbone tuck. Elbows are close to the side of our body, and we're going to raise our arms forward and slowly coming down. So again, with our reverse grip of our bicep curl, we're targeting a little bit more wrist and forearm strength. Good. Breathing always. My upper arm is staying close to the side of my body, and I raise those hands up to a comfortable level, not so high that these elbows come away from my body, but keeping those elbows close. I always like to think of having a $100 bill stuck underneath my armpit, but you could also think about a roll of newspaper. And you do not want to let that newspaper or $100 bill fall, because then it becomes my newspaper or my $100 bill. And I don't know if too many people want to share $100 bills with their fitness instructor. One more time. Good, and relax. All right, so I had the band under my left foot. It doesn't matter much, but I'm going to switch sides just because. So coming into some shoulder work next, we're going to do some lateral shoulder raise. So we're going to stand up tall, chin, chest, core, tailbone tuck. Let's try one arm at a time to start. I'm just going to turn my palms forward slightly, and I'm going to raise one arm up and come down. Other side. Good. Now adjust your tension. It's always nice to start a little bit lighter, especially if it's a new movement that we're not quite used to. Good. going to your shoulder height and no higher. And I also like to have my palm facing you. So leading with my thumb, you can see I have my thumb up. Good. Some shoulders might like this movement better than the traditional palms down, knuckles up. So this is an option, but I just find most shoulders prefer the thumb up option. All right, let's do a couple bilateral movements if you have not already. Bilateral is just a fancy word for both arms at the same time. Unilateral is that one arm at a time. Good, and shake it out, relax. Whew, great work. So let's have some water next before we transition into some legs, more legs and some balance. And by all means, you do not need to wait for me to have some water. Feel free to have water whenever you would like. All right, moving into some standing balance work for our leg strength and for some balance. So I'm standing beside my chair. I would prefer you at home to stand like so, facing me of course, but having both hands on the chair to start and standing behind it. As always, make sure the space around you is safe and take breaks as you need. So we're standing up nice and tall, tummy is engaged, shoulders are down and back. We're going to, first off, do a hip abduction. So I'm going to, actually, what am I going to do? Okay, imagine your chair is in front of you. So I'm planting my feet and I'm going to shift my weight into one leg. Soft knee, soft hip. My hips are level. You can see in my shirt, my hips are level. When I'm moving, I'm not rocking the boat and I'm not tipping my hips. So flat hips, coming and doing my leg abduction, coming down. And then my hips are staying level, shifting my weight into my other leg, and then doing my hip abduction. So doing that side leg lift. You're standing behind your chair, holding on to that chair, and just doing alternating sides, trying to minimize any movement through your trunk. My body is still, my upper body is still, and it's not tipping as I tip. So that's what I do not want. I don't want our upper body tipping as our hips are tipping. I want our upper body to stay still. A little bit of side to side movement's okay, but I'm just watching that my shoulders are level and my hips are level. Now let's level this up or fine tune this work to get more out of this movement. When you do your side leg lift, turn your toe slightly in. All right, I'm exaggerating, but turn your toe slightly in. Then lift with your heel coming down. Turn that toe in and lift with that heel. I tweaked that for myself just now, and I definitely feel my glute turning on and doing more work in this. Does anyone else? I hope so. I'm taking your silence as you're feeling it too. Good. One more time each side. Those hips are getting some love today. Great work. All right, moving on to some hip extension work. So again, you'll be standing behind your chair to start with. Two hands on the chair to hold on to. I'm going to stand up nice and proud, finding those ABCs. I'm going to flex my foot. So I'm turning my toe up slightly, pressing down with my heel. And again, I want your upper body to be still and not move with your leg, holding yourself still. And as you do this, we're squeezing our glute and coming back down, switching sides. Flex that foot, squeeze your bum cheek to lift that leg, switching sides. Good. This one is another good one to target our glutes. Maybe you'll feel it a little bit in the back of the legs. And as we do this in alternating, so doing right, left, it gives our body a little bit of a break. If you wanted to do this in your class to make it more challenging, you could do maybe 10 repetitions on your right leg and then 10 repetitions on your left. Your choice. You know your group best. You know your body best. We give the options, and it's up to someone to make that choice for them. Good. One more time each side. Always breathing. Good. Shaking it out. All right, let's add in a little extra bonus hamstring work today. So similar to what we just did, we're going to hold on to the chair for a little bit of balance and support. I'm going to shift my weight into my far leg, soft hip, soft knee, and I'm going to flex my toe up slightly. I'm going to lift it back maybe an inch or two, and then I'm going to really curl my heel towards my bum, imagining I have a beach ball here and I'm trying to squeeze that beach ball. Slowly lower, same side, squeezing and lowering. By flexing my foot and squeezing with my hamstring to pull that leg up, I feel more tension and more muscle activation in that body part for me. So I'm getting more out of this. So just an option if you also wanted to level this up. Good, one more time. You could. Another option, you can do that in alternating as well. All right, far side now. So soft bend on that knee and hip. Hips are level. Flexing that foot, raising it back slightly, and then curling that heel back and slowly lowering. Curling that heel and down. I like to use nice, slow and controlled motions. Whenever you are in doubt, slow and controlled is the way to go. Good. Reminding ourselves to breathe. Good. My legs are feeling a little bit of fatigue. I know I've been working them a little bit. One more time. Good. Shaking that out. All right. A little bit more balance work before we sit down in the chair. We're going to do some one-legged balance. So let's shift our weight to the leg that's closest to the chair, or if you're doing it behind the chair, pick your favorite leg. So we're going to shift our body weight. I have a soft bend in my knee and in my hip, so I'm never locking out my joints. I'm finding my beautiful posture, pulling myself up, chin, chest, core, slight tailbone tuck. I bring my outside leg up like a kickstand. So whenever I lightly tap my toe like this, I feel like I'm almost like a kickstand. So if you're in between a narrow base progression and a one leg progression, this kickstand is a great in-between option. All right, so finding your level shoulders, your level hips. Again, I like to try and take a look at my shirt as it is level or flat, and I'm going to lift up my outside leg. My hand is nearby to my chair if I need it. I'm standing proud, but soft knees and hips. Finding that one-legged balance. Breathing. Options, pick a point on the TV that's not going to distract you or isn't going to move. Focus on that point to make this a little bit easier, unless you want that challenge, and then look around the room, making this a bit more challenging, starting with your eye gaze or moving your head. That makes it more challenging. All right, let's hold for 3, 2, 1. Set it down. Boy, for some reason, the leg that I'm standing on, I really do feel it lots in my glute and in my hips. Maybe you do too. It is very common when we're doing one-legged balance to feel that glute work on the leg that we are standing on. So you're feeling it in the right place. All right, other leg this time. So again, soft knee, soft hip, finding my beautiful posture. I have my kickstand, and when I'm ready, I'm lifting that kickstand up to find my balance. Good. Maybe one side's a little bit easier than the other. If you ever wanted to do a test for yourself to see if your balance is improving, you could probably just do any type of test where you have a stopwatch in your hand, or you start stop, or you count quietly out loud, 1 Mississippi, 2 Mississippi, until your foot taps down. Do it for 3 trials on each leg, and then take the average. And then when you want to retest down the road, you could do that retest again. I would love to know what anyone's score is if you ever wanted to do this. And I would love to know if anyone's balance has improved since you've been attending these classes. All right, let's go 3, 2, 1, relax. I'm a talker. We might have found this out already, but this is how I am. All right, moving into some core work next. We're going to start off with some 4-point. So, having your chair, I'm going to face my chair. So I'm taking about a foot away. I'm going to hinge, sinking my hips back. So maybe watch me first so you're not tipped forward. We're going to sink our hips back. My hands are placed on the chair. So looking at my spine, I have a nice flat spine. I'm not looking up to see that kink in my neck, and I'm not looking down because that also puts a kink in my neck and rounds my back. So activation of that core, please. Nice long spine. We're going to start off by lifting one leg back and lower, other leg back and lower, one arm forward, the other arm forward, and down. So option 1, stick with one arm at a time. And then if you want more of a challenge, we'll do one arm, one leg at a time. So we'll try level 2 next. Placing our hands under our shoulders, my feet are under my hips. I'm going to start by raising my leg first. So raising one leg out, and then my opposite arm is coming forward, and then coming down, switching sides, lifting my leg first, then my arm. I find it's just easier to keep balance that way. And as you're doing the lift of the leg, make sure you're not opening up your hips. So make sure that toe is pointing down. That's a common mistake I find with this one. People like to open their hips, and people like to round as well. So nice long neck. Again, you choose how high you lift your leg. If all you do is lift a little bit, that's fine, but we're never going higher than a straight line. All right, let's do one more each side. And then we will have a seat. Good. Shaking it out. Take a pause if you feel lightheaded or dizzy or anything like that. And find your chair. I'm going to have some water. I have a little bit of lemon in my water today. Trying to drink more flavored water for me. So that is what I chose as my goal, to drink more water. All right, so we're going to do some bum scooching. So we'll start in the back of our chair, and we're going to lift a hip. We're going to rock it forward and set that hip down. The other side, lift that hip or that bum, and then rock it forward like we're trying to bum scoot ourselves to the front of our chair. Once we get to the front of our chair, we gotta bum scoot back. So lifting that hip up and then rotating or pushing that hip a little back and setting it down. Other hip lifting out and reaching back. Very good. This, you never know when this could come in handy. Maybe you're in a really deep couch and you need to bum scoot yourself forward. Or maybe you're in a bed and you need to bum scoot to the edge of the bed to get out. We're also working a little bit of core, some obliques as well. And we'll take it back one last time. Good, and relax. So the next core exercise we're going to be doing is more of an oblique crunch. We did this one a couple weeks ago when I was here last, but option if this next exercise does not feel good for you, I'd recommend doing your bum scooch again, all right? So I'm sitting near the front edge of my seat, sitting up nice and tall. I'm reaching my arm up high, my arm up nice and high, and then I'm going to bring my elbow down towards my knee. And I'm feeling a little bit of a crunch in my obliques as I bring my knee to my elbow and down. Other side, reaching up tall and then bringing that knee to your, or the elbow to your knee. And I feel a little bit of a crunch here in my obliques. Oops. So when I was home the other weekend, I was visiting my mom, and we did this exercise, or one of my exercise classes together. And it wasn't until the next day where I was like, wow, my obliques are a little tired or a little sore. What was I doing? And it was from this exercise. So if you're thinking that this exercise isn't doing much, well, believe me, when I was doing this movement with my mom, I definitely felt it that next day. So saying that, a little bit of soreness is okay when we're working out, or you might feel a little soreness maybe a day or two after you're done working out, and that's very typical. We call that delay onset of muscle soreness. So things to help it, if it's really stiff and sore, drinking lots of water, some light movement, like a walk in your neighborhood. If there's not many puddles out there, and drinking water, movement, and some light stretching may help. Good, let's do one more each side. Again, bringing our awareness to that crunch really does make all the difference in making this a more effective movement and exercise. All right, it is time for us to stretch now. You've done great. Go to work, everyone. You've made it this far. It's all downhill from here. So starting off with a hamstring stretch, I like to lengthen my leg. So this is the hamstring stretch. I always like to start with this one. We're sitting up nice and tall, chin, chest, core. We're not allowed to forget about those yet. Hinge at your hips, leaning slightly forward. All right, your toe, you choose your own adventure. It can be pointed up to target more of your calf, or you can have it pointed forwards, targeting more of your hamstring, because then you can hinge a little bit more. So you choose, what does your body need today, and give that to your body. Big breath in. Let's switch sides. Sitting up nice and tall and hinging at those hips. Nice, proud, beautiful chest. Good. All right, let's come into a piriformis stretch. So usually how this looks for me is bringing my foot and placing it on my knee. Options, we can lower that leg down on your shin, having a little bit of a hip opening. Still, we're sitting tall, hinging at those hips, coming forward. All right, we're not overextending this straight leg, so be aware of what your knee is doing. If you've had a hip replacement or knee replacement, you may choose this option. If your hips and knees are feeling good, you might choose this. So again, sitting tall and hinging forward. Option to make this more, or to intensify this stretch, take your fingers and gently press down, or just lean forward. But this for me is good enough. And I feel that in my hip or in my glutes from doing some of our balance work. This one might feel really good after that. Let's switch sides. Sitting proud and then hinging forward if that helps to intensify your stretch. Again, some people might feel this in your knee or your groin. Depending on everyone's body is a little different. And if it bothers your knee or groin, definitely choose this option. Maybe this way is a little bit easier to see in the camera versus the other side. I was stretching. Good. All right, bring it back up. All right, let's stretch our chest. So we're sitting nice and proud. We're opening up our arms. My palms are facing up. My neck is long. My shoulders are down. Big breath in. And if you're able, we can take our palms, we can rotate them down and bring them a little bit further behind us. Just another way to tweak our chest stretch. Maybe you feel the stretch more in your arms now. Good. Big breath. When I focus on my deep breaths, I try to imagine I'm getting rid of the old air in my lungs, making room for the fresh air that I deserve. With this upper back stretch or shoulder stretch that we are doing now, I'm bringing my arm across my chest. My neck is long. I'm not hiking, and I'm not bringing it across my neck like so. All right, let's switch sides. So again, bringing it across my body and then taking my hand and just guiding it a little bit more in that direction. Sitting tall, sitting proud, big breath. See if you can make your exhale of your breath longer every time you try it. I swear it probably helps with your lung capacity as well. If you've ever had to go for a lung capacity test, working on that exhale long and slow could definitely help. Let's shake that out. Let's stretch out our neck. So we're sitting up nice and tall, tucking that chin in, and then taking my ear to my shoulder. Often with this neck stretch, I feel most of us forget to do that chin tuck. So they just have their chin poked forward and then tip. I think it works better if you can chin tuck and then tip. Oh yeah. Option, you can place your hand underneath the chair to help anchor that shoulder down. Bring yourself back to neutral. Other side, chin tuck, and then drop that ear to your shoulder. Your gaze is still forward. Excellent. We'll do one last stretch in standing, and then we will be done. The last stretch that we will be doing is that hip flexor stretch. So if you'd like to do it in sitting, you're more than welcome. But we're going to stand beside our chair, and I'm going to take a step back. All right, so my hips are facing forward. And then what I like to do is with this leg that's back, I like to tuck that knee under. So I almost think of it as thrusting that hip forward or just tucking that hip under. So I'm standing proud and I feel the stretch in my hip flexor. Option, this also looks like my setup, and then I tuck that hip under and I'm feeling it here. Good. Holding on to that chair, take that leg that's back, extend it overhead. That might help to get a little bit of side oblique stretch, or your lats, your big back muscle stretch. All right, let's switch sides. Take a nice step back or seated in the chair, switching sides, tucking that tailbone under, nice beautiful chest, raising that arm up. You could also bring it slightly higher. You can modify this to work best for you. Again, this is your workout. I'm just here to lead you along. My name is Catherine again. That is it for us. If you love anything, please let me know. Write a comment if you want to see something in the future, and then we can try to incorporate it in. I like to end with 3 big deep breaths, so let's do that before we hit end. Find some space, don't hit anything. Bending down, proud chest, reaching up. Good, let's take a breath in. Exhaling. And a big breath in again. And exhaling. Round of applause. I know you're clapping for yourself. You deserve it. My name is Catherine again, and I will see you next time. Bye.